Hola, it's Kai Pacho with the weekly Pele report for April 3rd, 2024. Moon is in Capricorn, and life may feel a little bit like a rock that needs to be climbed right now, like we need to be mountain goats. And we're mountain goats chasing that dream. Venus conjunct Neptune today in Pisces, the sign of dreams. Neptune, the planet of dreams. Venus, the planet of love. Yeah, the ideal Neptune. Tomorrow, right after this conjunction, I mean, Neptune is up there at the last degree of Pisces. I mean, it's just about over, but not for another year or so. And then Venus goes into Aries tomorrow. So we're going to have a little bit of a shift. There. The moon is actually going into Aquarius today. Oh, God, how do I get up? See, it's like, how do you get up? How do you climb rocks? You got to pay attention. Oh, really calls your attention. Look at the rocky landscape, man. Anyway, we go up into Aquarius, and the moon squares Jupiter and Uranus over there in Taurus tomorrow, and then goes into Pisces on Friday to hit Mars. Now, Mars doesn't actually exactly conjunct Saturn until next Wednesday, but you can be feeling Mars-Saturn now. Yeah. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Sometimes the climb reveals something beautiful and amazing at the top. And this is what today's mantra has to do with, what the eclipse has to do with, what the thumbnail has to do with, is this breaking through. The moon is balsamic, going through Aquarius into Pisces and then into Aries on Sunday, and just in time for, drum roll please, the freaking total solar eclipse happening on Monday. Conjunct Chiron, exactly 19 degrees, 24 minutes. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I've talked about it before, but it's time to talk about it more. That's all I can say. There's a lot to what's going on now. Oh, Jesus. Ah! Freaking A. What else is going on? Venus sextiles Pluto on Saturday. Okay. And after the eclipse, then the moon comes along and conjoins with Mercury before bopping up into Taurus on Tuesday. So let me find a spot somewhere around here. I don't know, down here or something at the river. Check it out and talk at you. All right. We're closing the eclipse season. Sooner the better. I'm still standing. Would be a song for this week, but I have a bunch of, there's a whole bunch of songs we can use for this week. Woo! But yeah, the new moon, March 10th. Go back. It was at 20 degrees of Pisces. That was the new moon that started this month's eclipse madness. And then we had the lunar eclipse, and now we're coming up to the solar eclipse, and then hallelujah, we're freaking moving on. But so we're moving into the third quarter moon, and then into the balsamic phase, which is ending and closing the cycle, and we're ending and closing, so many things in our lives these days with this eclipse. And just get this sense of this lineup, okay? Even the declination, both the sun and the moon okay, are positive 7 degrees declination. This is off the, off the horizon is the declination. So they can be conjunct, okay, but if they're at different declinations, right, then you don't get the total eclipse. But here's the other thing. So they're not only at the same declination, but Chiron, the same degree, same minute, they're all three Sun, Moon, Chiron. This is Earth, Moon, Sun, Chiron. All in a line. And that line is also like straight on through to the other side. Yeah. So this is a case where the light of the sun is blocked by the moon. The sun is our vitality. The sun is our energy. It is our, our nervous system, our blood system, our lungs. It's like what gets us up and gets us out of bed and gets us moving. And we're coming into this place where the moon, our subconscious feeling, inner child, past conditioning, memories, need to belong, need for safety, need for emotional connection, the illogical, irrational nature of our feeling life comes in and blocks the light of the sun. So, back in the ancient days, they were scared. Like it was a dragon eating the sun. Everybody freaked out before they knew what was going on, right? And remember what I've said now. I gave a 2-hour webinar on this. The link, I can put that below. But I've been talking about this forever. We understand, okay, that, when this moon, the solar total eclipse is on the north node. There's 2 nodes to the moon, the north and the south, Rahu and Ketu, positive, negative, future, past. So whenever a planet, and there's a north node for Mercury, a north node for Venus, a north node for Mars, a north node for Pluto, I mean, you name it. Yeah. And it's interesting that the north node for, I think, Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter are all in Cancer right now, with the south node of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter in Capricorn. So if we really want to see that the north node of the evolutionary, impulse at this time on planet Earth is Cancer, is the moon, is feeling, is really coming into healing the past and letting go of that Saturnian, Capricornian separation, ambition, drive to, be above and beyond and shine more than anybody else, and let go of our reputation and what people think and come into our feelings. So now we have a chance. And your feelings may be driving you nuts. I mean, they are me. I was going to say I got up on the wrong side of the bed today, but my bed is up against the wall, so I get up on the wrong side of the bed every day. But I'm walking down the road here to the trailhead, and, cars are whipping by, and I just, it's like they're coming up to a bridge over the river and a stop sign, and it's like, slow down, slow down. And I find myself raising my voice until I'm yelling at the cars, slow down. Oh, God, it felt so good. Yeah, a release. of irritability, of frustration, of anger at not getting what I want, or things not going my way, or life not turning out the way that I wanted or expected, or, worked for, or aimed for, or the goals kind of, this is the balsamic phase. And don't forget, Mars, Saturn, and Venus today, and Neptune, okay, and the moon coming around, all in Pisces. The grand finale, the grand finish, dissolution, dissolving, like the rain on the snow, like the rain on a sugar cube. We just are going through a meltdown. And it's an important part of every cycle. It's an important part of the seasons of the year that we're going to read about here in the Sabian symbol. There is the rising up of the summer and the fruit and the blossoms and the harvest. And then there is the dying and the letting go and the surrendering into the cold, and the seeds are dropped and they disappear into the void, into the emptiness, into Gaia, into the womb. And they just wait. This is, and then, in Aries, in spring, it comes up and out. But look at it. What would normally be happening at this time of year Sun goes into Aries. New cycle, new beginning. Oh yeah, this is great. But what happens? Bam! Chiron. Like, bam! Maybe not. Or maybe I'm not going to make it. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe I don't have the vitality. Maybe I don't have the strength. Maybe I never did have the strength. Maybe this doubting and this questioning and this wondering, can go on very deep, very down in. Chiron's wound in Aries, I've said it a million times. I don't deserve to exist. I don't deserve to get what I want. I am impotent. I am weak. I am wounded. I am the wounded warrior. And do you know how vulnerable that is? Just consider. You're on the battlefield in the Civil War or the Wild West, and you get shot in the leg. You are a wounded warrior. How vulnerable are you? You're fucked. I would not want to be there. Right? You get it. You are easy prey. You are easy meat. You are weakened. This is scary. These can be very scary times. And whether it's the monster of AI, or, the BN, currency, the facial recognition, the surveillance, or whether it's in your relationship, and your other partner has the goods on you, or you failed. At some point in our lives, we will fail. That is, if you try. There is a way to avoid failure, that is to not try, but then maybe you fail at the whole thing. So if you do try, you're going to blow it eventually, one way or another, sometime or another. Right? And these failures can build up. And these failures don't disappear. Life, the past doesn't always just go away. It stays alive in people's memories. And it stays alive in our emotions. Feelings are in the present moment, okay? I am feeling good, bad, indifferent, angry, that's so I'm feeling that way. But emotions are past feelings that we are still in motion, they are in motion. So these things come up from the past, and we may be whipping ourselves, beating ourselves for all of our past errors or all our mistakes, or we may be angry and not getting what we wanted, when we wanted, how we wanted it. It didn't turn out the way we wanted. I mean, this feeling of, not getting what I want, leads into feelings of guilt, of shame, of persecution, of victimization, of martyrdom, you name it. You come across all these conditions and situations, and like I say, illogical, irrational, these are feelings. Chiron rules the underworld with Pluto. Chiron and Pluto are co-rulers of the underworld. These are your lower chakras. Yeah, in shamanism, the underworld is outside of consciousness, outside of time and space, outside of ego, outside of personal control. So this underworld of Chiron and Pluto rises up, particularly when the sun is blocked, like we are going to be having on Sunday. I hope you have a special plans for Sunday when this is actually happening. I understand that they in Niagara Falls, they have already declared a state of emergency because it was announced that the eclipse could really be viewed the best from Niagara Falls. So they're expecting millions of people to descend on Niagara Falls. Oh my God. So what can we say? This can be a time when you're feeling hurt, you're feeling wounded, you're feeling vulnerable, you're feeling weak, you're feeling out of control, you're feeling, so many things. And let's be clear. It's at 19 degrees 24 minutes of Aries. If you've got any planet at 19 degrees 24 minutes of any sign, you're getting a semi-square, a sextile, a square, a trine, an inconjunct, an opposition. You're getting an aspect. But you may not. You may not. And it is said that these eclipses are a little overrated with the astrology. That if they are not falling on an angle, okay, or particularly a personal planet, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, or Mars, or the moon's nodes or something, you don't necessarily feel this. You feel it through the collective experience. So you may not have anything at 19 degrees of anything in the zodiac, but if you live in Gaza Strip, you're going to feel something. You are feeling something. Yeah? If you live in the Ukraine, you're feeling something. And this can also be natural disasters. Hurricanes, typhoons, earthquakes, all kinds of things happen. And so you may not feel it like directly, personally, like I lost my boyfriend or girlfriend or my house or my money, or, this is the end of a phase of life for me, or my kids are going off to college and I have an empty nest, or, It's time to graduate from, university, and move out of school and get a job. I mean, so many aspects of life come to an end. But this particular time, like I say, it's not like I am saying that everybody that you meet on the street right now is down in the dumps, going through grief, going through mourning. I mean, this is a time of mourning in general. Mars conjunct Saturn, and it's even getting, next week, it's even going to get tighter in Pisces. Whoa. Yeah, it's, we need to really look at, and I mean, we're changing paradigms. We're changing paradigms. We have to change our attitude, change our view of things, change our way of, judging and justifying and evaluating what is a win, what is a loss, what is, what is good, what is bad. These things can change as we grow, mature, and experience things. But the beautiful part about this eclipse and this vulnerability, let's remember that Chiron brings in a healing crisis. So yes, it is a crisis, and we can focus on what's leaving, what's going, what we're losing, or we can focus on what we have, who we are with, and what hope or potential lies ahead of us. If it's one thing that crisis does for humanity, is it brings people together. It makes heroes. It makes heroines. Yeah? I mean, this is where you get the gold medal for bravery, the gold medal of honor, because you step up and you have compassion and you use your strength, to, help someone else who is going through an even harder time than you. Right? When there's an earthquake or a flood, you get these stories of people that risk their lives. The firemen run into the burning building, to save other, souls. And, crisis can really bring people together. Right? And that wounded warrior out on the battlefield, his comrades, the other soldiers are going to come, right? And surround him and drag him back to safety and bring him to the hospital, right? I mean, there is this whole kind of beautiful part that we are here for each other, and we can experience the unity, we can experience the oneness, we can experience the great release, the great aha. Yes, when we turn, like the Sabian symbol says, when we turn life into love. Let me read the symbol for this. It's very powerful. A young girl feeding birds in winter. The keynote is overcoming crisis through compassion. Nature's seasonal rhythms imply an oscillation between living and dying. Through creative imagination, we can fly over, like the bird, we can fly over the cycle, right? Some birds can migrate, and they fly south, and they skip the winter, right? Yeah. So we can get in a plane and fly out. And discover means not only to escape from the fatality of seasonal decay and deprivation, but to assist other living entities to survive through crisis. Migrating birds fly south. But by establishing a partnership with other creatures unable to escape wintry deprivation or death, we can maintain the life of the spirit, symbolized by birds. Birds can symbolize spirit, right? So the young girl, right, she is maintaining the life of the spirit, steady through all crisis. If, like a young girl, we are widely open to the promptings of love and sympathy. At this stage, we witness human activity motivated by sympathy overcoming the seasonal phase of impotency. Life potency in nature spirits reaches a higher level in the human being. The theme is the transmutation of life into love. There's a lot to talk about here. I could grab my water and sit here for another hour and talk about this. What a great one, eh? Because it's so fitting. I was just talking about Chiron in Aries as the feeling of impotency. And we have this feeling of impotency in the seasonal cycle every year. You know, the plants just cannot live forever and go on forever. And they, you know, they give up and they surrender and they move on and things change. And then, right, there's another thing. Life potency in nature spirits reaches a higher level in the human being. You know, this is another thing that brings to mind. There's a lot of science now, and there's a lot of, I forget the books, is it A Day in the Sun or something? You know, it goes back and, you know, it looks at the natural cycles, you know, of like monkeys or gorillas, and looks at them and their, you know, how they approach natural living, and, you know, and look at the birds and the bees and the animals, and then compare this to the human being and say, oh, we need to be more like this. If we want to be natural, we need to, you know, like be more like animals. but the fact is, we're not. Yeah, if you get into anthroposophy, Rudolf Steiner, you get into this whole hierarchy: mineral consciousness, plant consciousness, animal consciousness, human consciousness, angelic consciousness, archangelic, okay, archi, you know, moving higher to the cherubim and the seraphim. There is a whole hierarchy of spiritual manifestation through material, physical bodies, right down to stones and rocks and plants. And it's different in each. The animals have group souls. We have individual souls. So we're in a different category. And we are capable of sympathy. And yes, you know, a mother dog or a mother duck or a mother cat licks their little ones, and you know, you can say, yes, that's beautiful, they have sympathy and compassion, but the human being can take it to a whole nother level and can spread it out, yes, consciously, okay, you know, to all of nature, to things that are beyond the immediate, you know, family or, you know, other one in need. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that animals don't have compassion, because, yeah, I mean, miracle stories can be, you know, had and spoken and said and shared about how, you know, how amazing this animal saved another animal, maybe even of another species or whatever, takes care of a horse takes care of a dog, or, you've seen these videos and stuff. But just consider that the human being can also think of future generations and put laws or put institutions in place, or elect officials or whatever that care about the environment or care about the future or care about different things. And then we can also come out of, I'm not just going to save this little ant on the rock here that is about to get eaten by a bird or something. I'm not going to just save this little worm here, okay? But I'm going to look at, right, so we have this capacity to bond in communities, and these communities can be even global communities, and they can extend beyond time and space, and we can heal the wounds of our fathers and our grandfathers, and we have memories of our childhood where we can go back. I was going back this week. It's like, when did I first blow it? When did I first go off track? When did I, so we have amazing capacities to heal our bodies, emotions, souls, minds, relationships, other people, family members, loved ones, communities, countries, nations, the planet, you name it. This is a power. This is a potency that we have. Our ability to care. That where we can make a difference in somebody's lives by forgiving them, by releasing the anger, yelling at cars instead of your loved one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have choices. We have a lot of choices. We have a lot of free will. We have a lot of, there is a lot of potency. And we can measure our potency not by the masculine, how much we can conquer or own or beat or win, or, we can measure our potency by how much we can love, how much we can care, how much we can show up, how safe we can make a space, a relationship. And this all begins with ourselves. I want to finish here just with this sense of Aries. The ascendant in the first house also has to do with our physical bodies. And we have to begin our sympathy. We have to begin our compassion with just the fact that we are mortal beings in bodies that are frail and fragile and are going to die. And they're going to, we get broken bones, and we get poison ivy, and we get, we drink too much and wipe ourselves out, or we work too hard and burn ourselves out. We can abuse our bodies. We can take risks. We can, crash motorcycles. We can, we can do dumb stuff. We can smoke and drink and whatever. Dive off of bridges or cliffs and smash our heads. Or there's a million ways that you can abuse your body, the temple of spirit. So this eclipse may also be a time where you are dealing with the results of past, the moon blocking the sun, the past blocking the present, blocking our power. So this can be a very healing crisis, not only emotionally, not only with our relationships, but also with our own physical bodies. So go on a diet, go on a fast. Excellent time for a water fast, an apple fast, a master cleanse, you name it. Good weekend. Yeah, to just like clean up the act. And then last but not least, don't forget, I look at relationships as we hire people to remind us of. So if you're not getting down on yourself and you're not feeling ashamed or guilty, and this can also be from past lives. We're on Moon's nodes now. If you were persecuted, burned at the stake, the conquistadors, came after you as a pagan or a druid there's been so much persecution in the history of our planet that you can bet we have all got some past life wounds, if not this life. No one is immune from wounding on planet Earth. But we hire relationships, yeah? Like if you're going along innocently and naively and unconsciously thinking you are like the hottest thing since apple pie, you will unconsciously, your soul will hire other people, sometimes your most intimate partner, to remind you that you're an idiot or that you too have failed, you too have flunked, you too have, not pulled your weight all the way or as much as you could or whatever. So yeah, we can really beat each other up, and having sympathy can also just be having sympathy for those who have failed us. And we can stay in our anger. We can stay in our grief. We can stay in our rage. Or we can, just let it go. So, I now see just how my wounds have been stopping and blocking my light. Whether with myself or someone else, it's time that I make it right. This is a good time to, with sympathy and compassion and an open heart, just really come into a place, of healing. Make it a healing crisis, not just a crisis. We can have crisis left and right, up, and there's all kinds of crises, but this can be a healing crisis. So get the most out of it. Yeah, baby. I now see just how my wounds have been stopping and blocking my light. Whether with myself, my diet, my risk-taking, my destroying my body, or someone else, letting somebody down, hurting somebody else, failing a commitment, whatever, right? Oh, there's a butterfly. It's time that I make it right. So this is a beautiful time of healing. So we go down, we experience our vulnerability and our weakness and our blues and our depression and our despair. But the seasonal change, just like the migrating birds, we want to feed those birds that are stuck in the winter and know that spring is going to come. It's the beauty of astrology, the cyclical nature of all evolution. Namaste, aloha, so much love.